So now that we have this horse tying pretty well, we are going to introduce a second lead line, and the lead line is going to help prepare for touching her around her flank area and her hind legs, being able to pick up her back feet. This is a Mustang from the wild, and she has history of kicking at us when we're trying to approach the ribcage area, and also when we're standing behind her, she'll either bolt and run or she will kick out at us. So we're teaching her not to bolt and run off. We're teaching her to calmly be tied, prepare her for tight spaces, prepare her for being restricted and being able to accept it. We're going to prepare her hopefully very well for a domestic life, and eventually this one will get on an airplane and go to Germany. So she needs to be able to prepare for a chute that's tight and be able to handle that pretty well, but also need to be able to access her hind end without her kicking. So I have another lead line attached there, and I'm going to grab the lead line and I'm going to expose her to just rhythmic motion around her body and her back, on her butt, around her hind legs, and getting her to yield to that. I have already done the butt rope around her butt, but she was very unsure about it, and she had bolting tendencies and those kicking tendencies, and it's pretty dangerous to do it when you're that close to the horse, trying to get the rope over her butt. Or if I would just throw the rope over her butt, then she just bolted and she would face me and come back, but it was in a reactive mode. I would like for it to be more of a response, not so much a reaction. So we're going to see what we can do. Hi, darling. Hi. How are you? So I'm going to grab this other lead line, and I'm going to see if I can get her to start yielding to it. Right now I still have slack in it, so she's just feeling it being there. And there she's just automatically responding to the pressure of the lead line just laying on her leg. There's not really a lot of pressure there. She's a highly sensitive horse. She's in a reactive mode right now. You can see she's kind of wide-eyed, and she's got a really tight lip going on, both lips. So my goal is that she'll learn how to accept me behind her, even up closer. I'm going to help that rope unwrap from her face here for just a second. May need to lengthen it just a little bit. Let's see if we can get it over. We can't get it over. I'm going to lengthen it because it's too short. I'm going to walk around her hip, and I'm going to give her a little more slack. I'd like for the lead line to be able to stay underneath her nose. Hi, darling. Yeah, you're okay. So right now it's underneath her nose. Now we're going to take the slack out, and I'm going to retie it here. I don't want it to be too long, because then if she goes to rearing, which she has done in the past while she's tied, I don't want her to have too much rope left so that she doesn't injure her neck. We like it short, and we like the rope high to prevent any kind of injuries, keeping her safe through this process. But I do need the lead line to be able to go under that nose so that she can put her nose over it eventually. She's still getting a little tangled up in it. There we go. Good. What I'm going to try to do is put a little bit of pressure on her. It's still going over her nose because she's too far off the fence. Well, that's okay. I think it will be okay. There we go. There, she got a little bit of slack. Again, I touched her leg. She got a little concerned, and she was trying to go into the pressure instead of away from it. There we go. I'm not going to put any pressure on her right now because she's a little bit tangled up. Got a little bit of a puzzle to figure out. There we go. Now she figured out how to get out of it. Good girl. And this gives me a little bit of an opportunity to work on this side. So I'm going to come back here. I'm trying to stay out of the kick zone. There we go. There. Just waiting for her to yield. There we go, very good. So her first response was to go forward with the rope that she's tied to, and also the panels in front of her helped prevent that, which was the problem I had when I didn't have her tied when I was trying to do this. And then she pushed into the rope. The good news is she did not kick at it, even when there was so much pressure in the bag that it got her butt kind of tucked under. Oftentimes they do kick out in that moment because they feel trapped and they try to get out of that trap. She's backing up. I don't want her backing up, so I'll put a little bit of rhythm there. Good, very good. I don't want her to learn to back up towards me, especially if she has any kind of kicking thoughts. I'd like for her to learn to just stand. So there I gave her a little release, let her see me. Then I put the rope on, and I'm really just looking for being able to walk around her, touch her leg. Good girl. Good, give her a little release. And then the next thing we can do, she's blinking, I'm gonna give her just a moment. The next thing we can do is throw the rope over her head. I'm gonna put a little bit of rhythm in it so she knows it's coming. And I'm gonna throw a little loop over there. And when I throw it like I'm kind of like throwing a ball without letting go. So you can see that there the rope went over her butt, and I came to the other side and she automatically yielded. And this is also a problem because she's making assumptions and she's not keeping her feet still. I would like for her to be able to eventually keep her feet still until I ask her to yield. So right here, you can see I'm walking around her hip and she's assuming that she should yield just because I'm on the other side. And that is not the case. I'd like for her to learn how to stand still unless she's asked to do something different. There we go. Not yielding automatically just because I show up on the other side. That way, eventually we can ground tie and walk around the horse and they're not moving anywhere. So this is a good prep for that too. I'm gonna throw the rope over her head again. Whoopa. Over the head. Good girl. So you can see how she's reacting to that, just going automatically. So the next stage of this is gonna be to be able to put 2 ropes on her and prepare her for two line driving, where I'll be able to yield her laterally. But before I do that, I can still play with the rope going over her butt. And what I'd like to do is be able to get her to where she will allow me to stand behind her, even without the fence, and not move around. I'm waiting for her to slow down, kind of trying to stay behind the hip. There we go. And then when she does, I'll back off, give her a release. She is on the fence now, but that's okay. Just backed off a little bit, give her a moment. I'm also looking that she's not reacting to things. She starts responding more and thinking. So she's still in a little bit of a reactive mode. Good girl, now she's licking. Like to, oopa. So that popped her butt just a little bit. She don't like it. She's got just a little bit of fight in her, a little bit of defiance, not wanting to accept the situation. And I don't blame her. This is a hard thing for a Mustang from the wild. Some of them domesticate easier than others, but they do eventually come around. It just takes time. Some of them it takes longer time. She's trying to walk towards me and to find a release. Good girl. Like to be able to throw that rope over and her not be moving it. So now I'm just going kind of halfway. Good girl. Good. Get it to where it's just a rhythmic motion. It doesn't really mean anything else. the difference between rhythmic motion and rhythmic pressure is going to be in our intention. So I may cluck or something, or I might add a little bit of steady pressure, or I might add a little bit of, that was really good, I might add a little bit of bumping of the belly of the rope on her side. But if the rope's just going over, I'd like for her to learn that she doesn't have to react. She's kind of hanging on that lead line she's tied to, kind of pushing into it. So I'm going to back her up a step, cause it to back up and get herself some slack. Good girl. Check her halter, make sure we have a little bit of slack here. Make sure it's nice and snug. I like for the halters to be snug and here behind the jaw, especially when they're tied, so that there's a little bit of pressure on the pole and behind the jaw too, so the pressure is distributed back there and up top in case the horses do sit back or start rearing or something, which does happen sometimes. Good girl, that was better. She's gonna learn that it's okay for me to be touching her back here, and we've already done sticking string around the back legs. We've already done throwing the end of this lead line around her hind leg. Good girl. So she already knows what it feels like to have the rope there. She's just not used to me doing this from behind. I'm usually next to her. I'm out of the kick zone. Right now I'm still out of the kick zone, but I am behind her hind leg and her hip. There, I'm pulling backwards a little bit, just trying to get her to back up because she's pushing on that tie rope again. This is starting to get better, starting to calm down. Good girl. Good girl. There, I like that. I'm going to back off, not making an assumption right now. Just going to let her sit there for a minute. Her response has been to most everything to kind of bolt and run. When she first came, she would run around in her little paddock if we just showed up. So we're able to walk in there now, put a halter on her. She knows how to do basic yields, side passes, hindquarter yields. She knows how to lead and go around on a circle, walk, trot. But she's been very protective around her hind legs. This is a lot better now. And when we introduced the butt rope, she started kicking out. And I've also had her kick out at me, just kind of going by me when I got close to the rib cage, when she had a reaction to something and she just kicked out sideways at me. And so I've done a lot of yields from the rib cage using steady pressure and rhythmic pressure, using sticks and using my hands and using the end of the lead line, swinging it at her and all those things. So she's got all the basics down. I'm going to back her up again because she's pushing forward. Hi. That was really good. Good job. Still snorting a little bit. She gets herself up on adrenaline. We have taught her how to drop her head, how to lower her head. So sometimes to get her off the adrenaline, if I can drop the pole below the withers like that, that helps turn off the adrenaline pump. Yes, there she took a deep sigh and she's licking and chewing. She blew out. Helps her calm down. She usually calms down when I come and rub on her. Will be nice when one day we can access all her body parts without her kicking at us. So this is kind of where we're at now. And I'm going to walk around and see if she'll stand still. That was really good. I left the rope on this side so that she wouldn't think about yielding. I'm going to throw the rope over. See what happens. So this is really good. She's kind of checking me from her left eye and her right eye. The rope's right dead center was. And not going anywhere. Oh, now it's getting wrapped up in the tail. Usually if it goes under the tail, if you'll just try to get it close to the hind legs, down low, it comes off. The worst thing you can do is start pulling on it when it's under the tail, because that adds pressure, and then they get afraid of it, and then they tuck their butt and start running around with it if they're not tied. If they're tied, it's a little bit easier to get it off, because they can't run away. So you can wait for the tail to relax, and good girl, I like this. I think she's ready to add another lead line and start playing with 2 lead lines, 2 ropes. So I'm gonna go get another one, and then we'll play with some more. She did really good. Give her a little break. Good job. So I have brought out a second lead line. We're gonna add a second rope, and that way we can start controlling the hip right and left and start playing with preparation for 2-line driving, and also add another boundary on the other side, so that we're preparing her for tight spaces and constrictions on both sides. Right now she's constricted in the front with the tie rope. She is going to have 2 ropes, 1 on each side, and then I'm also going to be behind her. So that's kind of pressure on all 4 sides. There's definitely restrictions, constrictions, and she's done really good so far, mentally, emotionally. She's got a little bit of anxiety, but not too bad. And I think I can help her hopefully stay in a thinking frame of mind, and see if we can advance this to 2 lead lines. And my goal is to start 2-line driving her eventually and be able to pick up her hind feet and be able to trim her. So we got to work on that. So I'm gonna see where I can tie this. This ring already has, this is a different color rope. She's already snorting. I'm gonna make sure I don't have any tangles in this. This is I believe probably a 40-foot lead line. Don't use it very often, but I do use it sometimes. Oop. Still has an old tag on it. Hey, see if we can slide this through here. You're okay. Yeah, it's getting in there tight. There we go. You're okay. You're suspicious of the black rope. Looks like a snake, doesn't it? Long, 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 long black rope. And I don't have any snaps on these because snaps break sometimes, and they also swing around and hit the horses in the face, and I don't like that. So I just tie them on the halter. All right, it's a really long lead line. I'll be able to handle both of them. I'm just gonna leave this down. There we go. Good job. I think the light rope will be a little bit easier to throw over. You're okay. Got a storm building on top of us. Hopefully we can get this done. There we go. Good. That black rope is a little bit thinner and a little bit newer. Those other ropes, I've had them for probably 20 years now, for a really long time. They gathered dirt and they have been washed. But so what I do now is, you can see that with the prep that we've done before, she felt that rope and now she's not bouncing around. Now she's bouncing a little bit, but I can take the ropes off of her just by spreading my arms and get that rope off. If I want a little bit of pressure, I'm going to walk off to the side and I'm going to ask her to yield. Very good. And then I'd like for her to stand again. There, I increased the pressure when she started going the wrong way. Now I gave her a release. We have a dark gray cloud above us. Hopefully there's not going to be any thunder and lightning in it. My phone is video recording, so I'm not getting lightning warnings. I don't hear any thunder yet. Sometimes these clouds just blow over, but we got to keep an eye on it. We don't want to be tied to the metal here with a lightning storm. There we go. Good. Good girl. The wind's picking up. I think it's going to blow over. Good girl. She's doing pretty good with this. But if I had not done the prep, then she would probably react quite a bit more. The other thing I can start doing is start walking up towards her a little bit closer to the kick zone. Not quite all the way in the kick zone. If she was to back up and start kicking out, I would back up out of that kick zone. Ooh, the wind's blowing. Everything's blowing. Okay, there we go. Wrong answer. Wrong answer. She's trying to get her left eye on me. Good, that's the right answer. Good job. So if I don't have pressure on her, I should be able to, I'm just touching her. I should be able to just walk around her and her not react to anything just because I'm walking around, unless I ask her to yield. There, I didn't ask for it, so I'm going to correct. So this is part of teaching them to stand still, making sure that we can ground tie and still walk around the horse. And making sure that the horse is not always trying to face us. A lot of people train a lot of hindquarter yields and train the horses to face us. And it's really not ideal, especially for colt starts. It's good for leading, and the horses should know how to yield, how to go through a gate and disengage. And that's great. And be able to yield and come back to us from a circle and things like that. But once we get through that stage of the basics, the sooner we can go to where the horse learns that it's okay for us to be on the side and be behind them, the quicker we can go to higher level, because transitions happen next to us, not in front of us. When the horse comes to us, there's not much we can do other than to rub their face and maybe ask them to back up, or we back up and ask them to draw. Good girl. Good. There, I feel like she relaxed for a moment, so I'm going to give her a break. She's licking and chewing. I just felt her soften in the yield. I felt it in my hand. I don't know if you could see it, but she was kind of unsure, moving. There was a little bit of tension and a little bit of anxiety about it, not knowing what to do. Then I felt her soften. Then when she softened, I acknowledged it, and I softened, and I stopped doing what I was doing. Just let her get a release. So it's really good to train the horses to be next to us. It's also really, or that we can be next to them and behind them, so that for a colt start, we're going to be sitting behind those withers. Plus, obviously with this horse, I got to be able to pick up her back feet one day. More than one time, hopefully. And while still being safe doing it, being able to trim her feet, having a farrier eventually be able to trim her feet. Good girl. There was a nice softening again. So she's kind of making assumptions about yielding when that rope goes over her. So right here, I can throw the rope over her and I can still catch her right here on that black rope. Good girl. And I'm going to catch her. And I'm just going to play a little jump rope here. There we go. Do a little bit of rhythm here. And then I'm going to yield her with just some steady pressure. I'm not going to let her get ahead, like for her to not be seeking the fence all the time. The other reason why I don't want them always facing me is when I put a saddle on them for the first time. Obviously, I do my prep with a girth and a bareback pad and break it down to smaller steps, using a lighter saddle first, eventually a heavier saddle. But once we put those girths on them and start saddling, it's not good if their answer is always to face us, because if they do get concerned about anything, I don't want them seeking safety on top of me. So for example, if the horses started bucking, they do have a tendency to not pay attention to where they're going. They would not do it on purpose, I'm sure, to try to run us over, but they might, this is really good, they might come towards us for safety because they know where we're standing, and they may also not pay attention and, you know, could run us over possibly. But so I like to have good yields away from me. Oop, she went forward on that one. So I'm going to start backing her up a little bit. I'm using one rope, then the next. And usually if the horses get sticky during the backup, you can disengage the hip and unstick the legs from moving. That's a good strategy also under saddle. Do a hindquarter yield and then ask them to back up. Oh, she's getting worried. And I lost that. I'm not gonna panic. We'll just do it again. There we go. This lead line's so long. There we go. The end's so kind of heavy and dead. Over here, the rope's not flying over like I'd like it to. There we go. Good. Very good. There she's standing. So I'm going to back up. Give her just a little bit of a release. Notice that I'm keeping the lead lines above her hocks. I like for them to be in that groove right under the butt where that hind leg comes kind of forward behind the stifle. So by the stifle height or a little below it is a good place. Right here where I have that black lead line right now is where I try to have it. It's a good tipping point right there where I have the white rope now. That's where I try to have it. If it drops down too low and it gets on their hind leg too low, they can step on it or get tangled in it. Like this is too low now. I can touch her there, but I'm not going to ask her to yield there, because if I was doing that two-line driving without her being tied, she would end up stepping over it and end up getting tangled in it. So she's going forward again. I'm going to see if I can back her up a little bit. She's got a little bit. I'm going to hold on to this one. This is where she got me the last time. She kind of got away from it. There we go. It's a little bit better. Still like for her to yield. There we go. Sometimes I can get on this side and just put a little bit of rhythm there and get them to yield. Lost it again. Try to get it back quicker. There we go. My goodness. There we go. And I quickly correct and tell her that that's a place of pressure right now. Might not be a place of pressure later, but right now it is. So you can see that she's got quite a bit to figure out. She's got pressure on her nose from being tied every now and then. Not always. I'm still trying to back her up a little bit. There we go. And I back off of her. Give her a little bit of confidence. Very good. And I think we can try to find a good place to finish. There we go. Good. That was good. She stepped up. So this horse with a little bit of bolting history and kicking history, this is changing her habits. I'm hoping that when she's not tied, she'll remember this. I'm going to back her up a little bit. If I can back her. And then I could step her up, ask her to go forward. There we go. There, she took a few steps forward. Good. And just play a little bit of forwards and backwards. We do have a long enough lead line to do it. For teaching tying, I would have that lead line shorter, but she's already been through that, so she knows how to respond to the pressure of the tie rope. I wouldn't tie her this long if this was her. She was just learning it. I don't want to put a number on it, how many sessions that might take, but good. I'm going to give her a break because this side's a little bit harder for her. Seems like I'm going to move her back over here where she's trying to go. There, good. And I might play a little jump rope again. Good girl. Good. Play with both ropes. She kind of moved off of the popping noise on the ground. And she is taught how to, you know, go off of pressure and tapping on the ground with maybe a stick like that. So it's not a bad response when she yields from that. And it was in a pretty good, thoughtful way. It was not a big reaction. Now she's got a little bit of a puzzle. I can come over here and help her with it. Put a little bit of rhythm here. And there we go. Send her sideways. Notice that I'm constantly handling these lead lines so I'm not getting tangled in them. Make sure she doesn't get tangled. Make sure that I don't get tangled. It's also like right there, the rope is dragging next to her. Some Mustangs get scared. I'll help her with pressure again. Oh, I'll leave it low. Steady. Steady, there we go. Oopa, there's the kick. No, she didn't like that. She didn't like that. This session's starting to get a little bit long, but that's okay too, because it will teach her to stay patient. There we go, good. So you got to see a little bit of the kick out. And that was not a hard pop that I did, but she is a sensitive horse. And sometimes to get horses to not be so reactive is by increasing the pressure a little bit more than what we do with other horses that are not so reactive, and really touching them a lot more and touching them with a little bit firmer pressure just to get them used to it, that it's okay when that happens. It's not anything that hurts. It's just with a sensitive horse that might be up on anxiety, they might react to it. It's not anything painful when I do this, but she also has to learn the difference between that rhythmic motion and the rhythmic pressure. Right now, I'm not asking her to yield. Good girl. That was better. And what I'm waiting for is a little bit more relaxation. We're starting to get a little bit of a pattern going here, a little bit of consistency. There she paused and relaxed a little bit. So I'll give her a little moment here. And then we'll do the jump rope again. We're not going anywhere. There, good girl. So there she took a step over. I took the pressure off with the rope. And it's a lot about how we throw these lead lines. It's a feel thing. It's a timing thing. It's a technique. Ooh, that made a noise. That was scary. There we go. Good girl. No, don't go anywhere. I'm going to back her up. If she was tied, she would probably try to bolt now and run off. But she knows she can't, so this is changing some of those patterns and habits and tendencies, I should say, that she's got. Tendencies is probably a better word for it, but once they do it a few times, it can become a habit. Definitely not a habit. I'm gonna kick, I'm gonna cluck, I'm gonna put a little pressure here. There we go. No, you're okay. It's like, wait a minute, there's another rope. There. I'm gonna help her a little bit and take that rope off. Really give her a place to go. She got a little stuck there. Good girl. Good. What do I think on that one? I think we're in a good place to give her a little break. I think she's starting to get mentally tired. I'm going to take some of these lead lines off, and I'm going to probably finish on the other side so I can be by that untying spot for the tying lead line. There we go. Good girl. I'm going to yield her here. Good girl. Go pet on her. And the place of release right now is with me in front of her. Kind of unfortunately, but she's not quite ready to fully relax yet with me back there. So it's going to take more sessions for her to relax more. The other thing we can do, we played with the ropes today. We can use a hard stick, like one of those horsemanship sticks, and walk around or rubber with the stick and tap on her hind end a little bit and get her to go forward and yield. And that's something that I'm going to do as well, so that if I apply a little bit of touching back there, she will not react to it with kicking. Very good. I'm going to do this lead line, and then we can do some other things. So I hope that you found this helpful. If not, obviously these are trainer's techniques. If you're an advanced horseman or horsewoman, those are some techniques you could try with safety in mind. Ideally with a trainer that's experienced to help you. This is not a beginner intermediate level type technique or exercises. However, I think it's good for any level person to learn about this and see what the process can be and how we do things here at the farm. And not every horse needs this. Not every horse is reactive like this one, but some of them are. So with some horses, we can skip this technique and just start picking the back feet up. About 80% of horses we don't need to do this with, but then you'll have that 20%. And if you have a horse that kicks or doesn't tie or bolt or rears when tied or all those things, make sure to find a professional trainer to help you with it. I'm gonna come back so I can climb on this. Make sure that you find a professional to help you with this, and that way you stay safe and the horse stays safe. And this is how I do it. It's worked for me for a long time, and ideally I would have a boarded panel in front of it so they can't rear and get hung up. But I have found with these Mustangs, they come from holding facilities where there are panels, and they're used to not getting hung up in the panels or knowing how to get themselves off of it if their leg does go over it. So I haven't had a problem with it. But it would be even safer if I did have a solid wall, which hopefully one day we will have. Wouldn't take too much to add some plywood to it. So hopefully that will be one of our projects in the near future. But this is a good way of doing it. I have had good success with it. I've had quite a bit of even domestic horses that came with kicking issues, kicking tendencies, and they couldn't get their feet trimmed, and this is a good strategy to do that. So, and it's a good colt starting prep to get them used to us being in the zones further back behind the withers. So I hope this helps you, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out the other ones, or check out the online courses if you want to learn more. If you want to learn it from ground up, from scratch, all the basic yields and things like that, and maybe play with your horses at liberty, I invite you to join my online courses. And if you don't want to do that, just follow and subscribe and follow along. We have a lot of Mustangs in training right now, so we can show you more examples of what we do here at the farm.